Hey, welcome to our Wednesday afternoon broadcast. Thank you so much for jumping on with us, whether you're joining us live or on the rebroadcast. We appreciate you being here with us. Please take a second to leave a comment letting me know you were here. That way I know that you stopped by and I can have a conversation with you, whether you're live or on the rebroadcast. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button on YouTube or that a like button on Facebook. That way you'll know when we go live or post content to these platforms. Today we're going to talk about what happens or what do you do if you have to change a big goal in your life. And I'm going to share with you guys a situation that I am in currently where I had to change a big goal and kind of walk you through the process of that and what I am doing now and the reason why I had to do that. So welcome. If you're jumping on new, my name is Diane, and for the past 25 years or so, I have been in a community where I help women find nutritional plans and fitness programs to help them look and feel their best and live their most authentic life. And we are doing that here in this community through sharing what it is we have going on with our life and really learning how to incorporate an intermittent fasting and a keto-like lifestyle so that we can look and feel our best while living it out most authentically. So a lot of you who follow along here know that I have been in a situation where I have been training for a half marathon. And I have been training for, I think I'm on my 7th or 8th week. I did a little pre-training before that. So I was kind of gearing up for the training for about 3 weeks before that. I've run 2 other half marathons. I've been a runner most of my life. I started running when I was in high school. So running isn't anything that's new to me, but a lot of things that have gone on with my body and a lot of changes that I have gone through in these last couple of years have been some new things that I've had to deal with. And some of the things that I've done is really tweak the way I have been working out. So, another thing that I've been kind of dealing with is we now live in Texas. I was born and raised in California. And so I am a California runner. We moved to Texas about 4 years ago, and I've never really found my groove for running, with the exception of I have a running partner and a walking partner that I would run with. And that was really the only time that I really enjoyed running here in the elements of Texas. I am a fair weather runner. I like to run when the weather conditions are perfect, 72 degrees, the sun is bright, no wind. That's just me and my personality. And it was really hard for me to really find those days here in Texas. So I tend to run inside on my treadmill a lot. I've also shared here very openly with you guys how I suffered from stress incontinence ever since I had my son Logan. And it was one of those things, again, as a runner, that was just really difficult for me to come to grips with and find my sort of happy place with what was going on with my body and really wanting to be like more competitive with myself than anyone else type of runner. And with the practice of intermittent fasting and what we're doing in this community, I've been able to really solve the stress incontinence problem. It's not an issue for me as a runner. And I thought that I was going to be on this, stress-free, good old days type of running regimen with what I was planning on doing with my half marathon. And it hasn't necessarily worked out that way. So I shared over the past couple of weeks my colonoscopy experience as well, some of the things I had going on with that. Colonoscopy results came back fine, no colon cancer. They did find several polyps, everything's safe there. But before my colonoscopy, I went in to speak with the specialist. I told you guys about this as well, because I was having some issues with running and my digestive system and some things that were going on with my body. And it wasn't a very comfortable feeling. And I thought it was something to do with my digestive system. He recommended that I go ahead with my colonoscopy and go through that process to make sure that they weren't, interconnected. There wasn't a bigger problem we had to deal with. Everything came back with that fine. So that's not the issue. But during my visit with him, he explain to me some of the situations that runners find themselves in and or women find themselves in as runners, where we start to have some issues with our body. And a lot of it was related back to the situation that we're in when we have stress incontinence. And really, stress incontinence for women happens when we, carry heavy babies in our body, or we have, go through the natural childbirthing type of sequence, and our bladder drops because of the weakened muscles. So that's what I've been suffering with for the last 19 years as a runner. Well, now what I'm having to deal with is the fact that my bladder still dropped because those muscles are still weak or damaged from, having babies, which, trust me, I would never do that over. I'll take the drop bladder for the gifts that I've been given with my kids. But it makes it very difficult for me as a runner. And so what I was experiencing on these runs was this pressure on my system when I would go out for a run. And it was usually around the 4th mile or so where I would almost be in a panic because it felt like everything inside of my body was just going to come out. Like the pressure was so intense. And he explained that as since your bladder is out of place, what happens is you start to get pressure on sort of the area where your bowels are and where your colon is, and it does create a sense of pressure in a sense of you have to go use the restroom. And I would be out on these runs and I'd be 4 miles out and far away from home and panicking, like, what do I do and how do I get home? And there were a couple times where I had to call Michael to come pick me up, and it was just super stressful, super discouraging, and kind of took the wind out of my sails, I guess, for what I was doing with running. So the doctor suggested all these really amazing things that I could do to fix it. And they all require surgery and reconstruction of basically my bladder and where it's sitting, and all these things that they can do to kind of fix a distended colon and all of this really technical medical stuff. And I said to him, or my other option would be stop running long distances. And he said, yes, that's a great option. So because of what I've been through with him and all the fear and stress I had with thinking that something was wrong with me digestively, and then what I went through with my colonoscopy, I have decided to basically cancel the half marathon that I was going to be running in December, because my health and my sanity and my stress levels and my confidence in myself is just way more important than committing to a race that I sort of half-heartedly committed to because I wanted to run a half marathon in 4-year sequences apart from each other. So what do you do when you're in this kind of situation where you have this big goal that you're all geared up to achieve, and you're all psyched about it and you've put in the work? I mean, I was running like 10 miles at home every Sunday. And also what I was finding was that I would run my long runs and then just be completely laid out for the rest of the day, like just absolutely spent. And I don't want to spend my days like that either. And so I've decided to just go ahead and put the half marathon on hold. But what often happens when people have things that come up in their life where they have to take a goal that they were so set on accomplishing, or a goal that they're very passionate about, and they have to put it on hold, and they have to cancel it, it can oftentimes be that thing that completely destroys you or makes you kind of throw in the towel, is the term that we use a lot here. So I'm going to share with you the thought process that I've gone through and some of the emotional things that I've gone through, and how it is that I'm setting myself up so that I don't feel like I failed at something. So a half marathon is no easy task. It's a pretty big goal to set for yourself. I know for some people it's not that big of a deal. They're running marathons and ultra marathons and all those kind of things, but I'm not a distance runner. I never have been. So a half marathon is that thing that's a big challenge for me, even when I'm feeling really, really good. And so I have to keep reminding myself of that. Like, I'm a runner. I love to run. And to think that something like physically not being able to run long distance being that thing that robs me of my passion and love for running would be a really sad situation to put myself in. So I'm okay with the joy of running and what running does for me mentally, physically, and emotionally. And so I'm going to stay a runner, but I'm going to keep it within the confines of what my body can handle without having to go to extreme measures to stay running. And I rationalize that also with, I'm not a runner who is like sponsored, right? Like I don't have like Nike or Adidas paying me running to run, or, I'm not going to be on the cover of Runner's World magazine. I'm just a mom who loves to run. And I had to put things in perspective with that as well, as it's not my job to run, it's my passion and my hobby to run. And I have to go back to thinking about it that way, that I'm passionate about it because it is that thing that just makes me feel really good. And so I'm going to just go back to rotating in my runs that are of a distance that my body can handle. And so that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to also go back to rotating in my Peloton rides, which I was really missing because they really didn't fit in well with what I was doing with my half marathon schedule. And I'm going to go back to doing my strength and conditioning training, and I was doing my stretching and flexibility. So that's all fine as well. So I'm just going to go back to just being me and doing all the things that make me happy, and not feeling like I have to throw in the towel because I have to make some adjustments. I'm also just going to go back to what I was doing and what I do very consistently anyway, and that is intermittent fast and go back to the way I was eating in a keto-like lifestyle. The great thing about not having the pressure anymore of 2-hour workouts is I can go back to where I really thrive, and that is longer, deeper fasts, and really managing my keto-like living in a way that I do feel my best. So I can go back to that as well and kind of cut out what I was doing to sustain an endurance type of athletic performance with what I was doing with my fasting and my feasting. So all I'm doing is going back to me in the everyday, which makes me the happiest, makes me my most fit, and really does fit with my lifestyle. I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel like I'm failing at anything. I just had to go back and reevaluate the whys of what I was doing. And it's just not my time to run a half marathon. The one thing that I'm keeping open is I had already decided that in December, when I finished this half marathon, I was going to retire running half marathons anyways. And so I just sort of reevaluated that as well. I said, I'm not going to just totally give it up. I'm going to leave it as an open-ended type of situation for myself in case situations changes and an opportunity comes down the road for me in the future where I might be in a better position to take advantage of running or training for a half marathon. So I'm just doing everything that I've been doing up until this point, and I'm just going to go back to what I know works for me, and that is working out in a training type environment, regardless of whether I'm training for something or not. I'm constantly working out in a training for life environment anyway. So I'm just going to continue to do that, and I'm going to continue to fast and feast, and I'm just going to be like, it's not my time. It is just not my time to push my body to extremes, and I'm totally fine with that. There are many other things in my life that I've set up as goals that I need to work on, and that I'll be able to have more time and energy for. And I think sometimes we have to give ourselves a little grace and a little bit of time to just be okay, that just because you thought something down the road was supposed to be in line with what you have going on in your life, and situations change and you have to readjust, it doesn't reflect badly or poorly on you. You're not a failure. You're not a person who's a quitter. You're not someone who's, throwing in the towel. You're just going to go back to reevaluating what's important to you and what's going to work best in your life for the long run. I'm not giving up running. I'm reevaluating running. I just got my running coach certification. I'm really going to use this time to use everything that I know from my past experiences and everything that I learned going through my certification process to be a more efficient and a better runner within the confines of what my own body can handle today. And that's exactly what I'm going to coach other women to do. And it's what I'm going to teach other women to do with what it is they want to do with their fitness goals and any other goals that they have in their life as well. So I wanted to make sure that I shared that publicly with you guys, because I know a lot of you have been following me on this journey, and I've totally appreciated it. And I know a lot of you are on your own journey with big goals, with what you want to do with your fitness as well. And I want to make sure that you understand that you don't want to push yourself through injuries. You don't want to push yourself into uncomfortable situations. You don't want to struggle your way or limp your way across a finish line. There are going to be other opportunities, and you want to make sure that when you are pushing your body to these levels, and when you do set yourself up for these big goals or these big fitness expectations, that you do it in a very healthy way. You don't want to put yourself into a situation where you're going to jeopardize the longevity of what you have going on with your body for a momentary win or feeling of accomplishment that could end up putting you into a position down the road where you might have some regret. So always make sure you're listening to your body. You're listening to the signs and the signals that it's sending you. And if something doesn't feel right, make sure you reevaluate. You're not pushing yourself just because you set a goal. Doesn't mean that you have to hang in the towel. It just means you have to reevaluate things and just keep pressing forward. So if you're finding that you're struggling with something, don't feel bad if you have to reevaluate your goals, readjust them, or push them out a little bit farther. You want to make sure that everything you're doing with your body is in line with what your body is telling you is best for it. And if it doesn't feel right, it probably is not right. And I knew something wasn't right and it didn't feel right. And going to that doctor and getting some advice and having him explain all the scary things they would have to do to keep me running those long distances just was not worth it for me. And I can run 3, 4, 5 miles just fine. I can ride that Peloton bike for hours. So I am definitely healthy as far as fitness goes, and I'm definitely utilizing what I know, what I practice with intermittent fasting, and all the things that I do on a daily basis anyway. So just pulling it back a little bit to accommodate what my body is going through right now, what it needs. So make sure you guys are doing that as well. So I'm going to jump into the comments and see if you guys have any questions or comments. If you're struggling in an area, let me know. I'll see if I can help you through that. And then wanted to share with you guys, I got some new glasses today. These are my new progressive glasses, so I can see and read at the same time out of these bad boys. And they have a little bit of the anti-glare. Hopefully you guys have noticed that. I know that's been a problem when I've had to put on my reading glasses before. So I am digging them. They feel really good to be able to read and see you guys at the same time. So let's see if I can read these without having to take any glasses off or put them on. Let's see. Jenny is here from Michigan. Good to have you. Amy, good to have you here as well. Kristen, so happy that it's not a super serious health issue. Good for you for being able to let it go for your health. Yeah, for sure. When he started talking about like sectioning off parts of my intestine and reattaching things, and I was like, yo, bro, I can just not run, right? And he was like, yeah, that's always the option. So I thought, I'll just take that option. And who knows, who knows 5 years down the road if something's going to change for me, or who knows if next year it's a different situation. I don't know, but right now it just wasn't good. And I am also, if you guys haven't picked up on this, I move fast, I talk fast, I make decisions fast, and I jumped into this really fast because I panicked and thought, oh my gosh, the last race I could run to make that 4-year commitment for myself is December. And I kind of shot the gun on it without thinking through some of the things that I knew my body was going to struggle with. And that's okay too. It's, it's okay to realize when you've made maybe a little too quick of a decision. That's part of this process that we're going through with healing, right? The whole woman that we are. And it's okay. Just give yourself some grace. I, for whatever reason, clicked that race insurance box, which I've never ever done before when I've registered for a running race. And I had this gut feeling that I just needed to check that box. And thank goodness I did, because I'll be able to get all my registration money and stuff back because I got the insurance. And who knows, maybe that was one of those signs and signals that I didn't pay attention, that I paid attention to finally and took that second to check that box, because I knew maybe intuitively that I was kind of rushing it and it wasn't a good time for me. So always pay attention to those signs and signals that your senses are giving you about something as well. Katarina is here. Hello, Cindy's here. Amy, awesome cousin. I can hear it in your voice that you love running and modifying your workout. Will keep you going. Yep, for sure. Thank you for sharing. For some reason, I can't read like completely out of these. If I lift them up, there we go. Thank you for sharing your experience. It's always inspiring. Oh, thanks so much, Amy. So I've got to learn how to like position my eyes. If anybody has progressive lenses, you probably know this. Progressives are new for me. I have to learn how to like shift my eyes so I can actually get the reading part. So I'll just lift them up until I learn how to shift. Jillian, I'm going through a breakup after 8 years. So I'm just trying to stay at the same weight and use the power of fasting. And so far it's working. Yeah, good for you, girlfriend. Eating is not going to fix a relationship that's broken. Eating is not going to fix a relationship that's going through stress. Eating is not going to fix anything. So unless you're eating for sustenance, then Jillian, you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing, and sink yourself into something else. Sink yourself into some meditation or a good book or some women's groups. Go, join a women's group or spend some time there. But eating will definitely not help mend a relationship that is broken. So I'm so proud of you, and we'll keep praying for you, girlfriend, that you find some peace in all that you're going through there. Amy, listening to your body and mind is the most important. Yeah, for sure. And years ago, I would not have listened at all. I would have just pushed through all of this discomfort and pain and would have ended up on the other side in not so great of a situation. So I know that there has been some healing going on for sure with me. I would have let my pride be more important than the health of my body, and that is never a winning situation. So we always want to make sure that we are making the decisions, based on the right reasons as well. And crossing a finish line at a marathon race, not feeling my best, is definitely not the way that I want to go ever. Karen, thanks for jumping on from Australia. So good to have you here. Courtney from Florida, I'm running my first 5K this Saturday. Awesome. Congratulations on signing up and getting there. And then make sure you circle back with us on Monday when we go live again and let us know how it went for you. I'm super excited for you. 5Ks are super fun to run. Adam and Georgie, hello. Tracy, hi from Pennsylvania. Danny, October class, very stylish. Thank you very much. The girl at the place, it's right down the road from our house. She was super fun and super cute, and I would have never picked these glasses, but she picked them for me, and I'm absolutely so grateful that she did. I absolutely love them, and they're super fun. So thank you so much. Karen just got some new glasses yesterday, very similar to yours, twins. Yeah, very trendy. I love them. And I like the fact that once I get used to reading in them, I think it's going to be great. But I like the fact that that glare isn't there when we're doing these videos, because I know that was really distracting for you guys. Michelle, great inner dialogue with yourself. We need to stay positive and reevaluate sometimes. I needed this. Awesome. Yeah, we do. And it's okay to give ourselves permission to back out of situations. We always feel like we're failing, and you can never fail when you're making a sound decision for your life in the big picture. So reevaluate is always what I like to say. Renegotiate maybe some things with yourself, and then just don't throw in the towel. Like, I could have very easily had a pity party and when like, oh, forget it. If I can't run a half marathon, I don't want to run at all. And if I'm not going to run, I'm not going to work out. And I was sort of like, whew, now I can go back to working out the way I want and not have to follow some regimented schedule to get myself to a place that was going to last, a couple hours on a Saturday somewhere. No, I'm good. Now I'm more consistently, like I said, on my Peloton. I'm going to incorporate some strength training again and really enjoy the process of what I like out of fitness, and not necessarily following a schedule to get to a particular place on a date on a calendar that once it's gone, then all that work is over as well. So make sure you're listening to that for yourself as well. Karen, it takes a couple weeks to get used to them. Hang in there. Yeah, I'm going to wear them as much as I can around the house. And Michael has been telling me for years to get years, as long as I've needed reading glasses, probably 4 years, to get progressives. And I was like, I don't want to have glasses all the time. Like, I don't want to have glasses on my face all the time. But when your glasses are cute, like, why would you not want to have glasses all the time? So now I'm going to wear them around the house, as 24/7 or whenever I'm awake, and really practice them, because the hardest part for me was when I was in the kitchen and I'm trying to cook stuff. And you guys know I'm a label reader, so I'm trying to read labels on food things or whatever, and I'm taking glasses on and off, and I couldn't see anything if they were off, and I couldn't see anything if they were on. And so now I'm really excited to be able to be in the kitchen and doing some stuff, and Gabby and I are going to start working on doing some cooking together, and so I'm excited to not have to worry about managing glasses on and off all the time. So that's the best thing for me. It was such an energy drain, and I'm excited to not have to deal with that anymore. So I'll keep you guys posted, but thanks for the tips. I will wear them constantly to get used to them. So thanks for joining me. I wanted to make sure that I shared that with you guys because I have totally appreciated all the support, and I'm so rooting for all my girlfriends out there who are committed to running some 5Ks and some 10Ks, or even walking 5Ks and 10Ks. And for all my half marathon girlfriends and marathon girlfriends out there, like, you're my inspiration. I'm so proud of you. It's so exciting to watch you go through this process. So I'm rooting for you. I'm definitely not giving up running. I'm just going to be sensible about it and go back to the joy of running and what running does for me. And it really is my place to find peace with myself and really push myself still, but within the confines of what my body can handle, because I don't want to get myself into a position where I'm forced to have some sort of surgery that could have been avoided if I just pulled back a little bit and slowed down. So don't push yourself into an injury situation. Always make sure you're listening to your body. And it is sometimes okay to reevaluate your goals. Just don't jump ship on yourself. Thanks for joining me today. I always appreciate you guys. You're my girls. I love you. I will be back here Monday. And if you want to join us on Friday, Michael and I will be on our other Facebook page talking about some things that you want to consider before incorporating a keto-like lifestyle, and some tips that we can give you to kind of help you ease into that, to make the process a little easier for you. So thanks for being here. I will see you guys somewhere in one of my courses this week or this weekend. I'm going live in all of them on Friday, so make sure you can jump on there if you can. And then my focus on finances, Michael and I will be going live on there tomorrow. So if you can join us, we would love to have you there as well. See you guys sometime this weekend or next week. Thanks.